Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Tech Loft podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the PS4 and if it's reached its end of its life cycle. But before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that you can access our show on Anchor.fm, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Pocket Casts, Overcast, Player FM, and more to come. If you need to reach out to the podcast, myself, you can reach us via Twitter at the Tech Loft. And for those of us that want to support the show, you can shop Amazon by using our special link shop.thetechloft.com, and small commissions will be paid out to the Tech Loft, and nothing will be affected by the price of your product. Just by referring people to the site, we get a nice small tiny few cents, and this helps with updating equipment here and all that. So there's been some chatter over the internet that Sony may be bringing the PS4 to an end. Now, I think this is all just clickbait. There was an article from a couple of weeks ago where John Kodera, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, was discussing the next 3 years for the Sony PlayStation 4. Now, let's give a little bit of background here. Now, I've had a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I've also had an Xbox 360. So let's take a look at the life cycles here. The original Xbox was available from 2001 until its discontinuation in 2009. And so that's about 8 years right there. The Xbox 360 was available from 2005 up until 2016. That's 11 years. Now, relating to Sony and its PlayStation, the PlayStation 3 went on for about 10 years, just over 10 years, 10 years and 4 months. And this is a console that I own and still own, as well as the PS2, the PlayStation 2, that went on for 13 years. 13 years people got to enjoy that console, and what a great console it was. Wonderful titles, amazing. I still have it, but it's not connected. I just don't have enough inputs on a TV to have all these devices connected. But getting back to this article, so what John Kodera is trying to say is that within these next following 3 years, they're not going to be focusing on hardware. Now, personally, my opinion is that they're not going to be bothering with hardware refreshes like we've seen already, where we've seen an original console, then after 2-3 years, we see a refresh console where it's smaller, more efficient, and all that. And especially now with this PS4 Pro, and even with the Xbox One, with their higher end model, I think that's it. They're not going to be focusing on maybe refreshing, bringing out not new, but re-releasing existing hardware. So what he is saying is that they're going to be focusing more on their, from hardware to more of their online services, where Sony takes $60. You pay $60 for a year for a subscription package. So they're trying to compete now also with Netflix and all that stuff. So they're trying to pick up revenue through online services. But regarding the next PlayStation, their 3-year plan will be ending in March 2021. So by then, we may be seeing the next PlayStation, probably called the PlayStation 5. Now, it's also written here in this article, said that John Kodera is looking at better ways to incorporate mobility into the PlayStation brand, much like how Nintendo has the Switch, where you can use it at home as well as take it as a portable device. So maybe this is a hint that the PlayStation 5 may be the same, where you can use that at home and take it with you. Now, Sony does have the PlayStation Vita, but they're saying that Sony doesn't want to limit it to a single dedicated device. They're looking for a more broader hardware. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're thinking about the next the next gen console. But me personally, I don't mind a dedicated home device that stays in the home and a dedicated device for mobile gaming. I do have a PlayStation Vita. Sometimes it comes with me, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just don't have time to play when I'm just on the go. But going back to the subscription service that Sony offers, the PlayStation Plus program, which currently has 34 million users and has reoccurring revenue of $60 a month, as I've mentioned before. That's a lot of money for them, and they're trying to focus on that as well. Apparently, they're competing with Netflix and Amazon, but I don't see how the two services are the same when you have Sony as a gaming service and networking service, and Netflix and Amazon is more of entertainment with movies and TV shows. Now, if Sony is going to incorporate movies and TV shows into their subscription service, I mean, at $60 a month, that'd be pretty sweet, because all I got to do is pay $12 a month for a Netflix subscription, and I get two accounts. I can use, me and someone else can use them at the same time. That's pretty good. But if they were to bring in some video into that, some movies and TV shows, well, then I can get rid of one, namely the Netflix, and get all my movies and shows from the Sony. But then we're going to be talking about limitations and licensing and all that stuff of what is available and what's not. But going back to the topic at hand, Sony is not discontinuing the PlayStation 4. I think this is just someone trying to make a clickbait title, so you can click on the link. And I didn't mean to do the same, but I just saw this article and I'm like, oh no, I hope not. I mean, the PlayStation 4 released in 2003, it's only 5 years old, and it's really, really too soon to put an end to it. Hopefully we get another, I don't know, I'd like to see 5 years. That'd be some real longevity, real bang for your buck. In the end, folks, Sony is not discontinuing the PlayStation. They're just not bothering with any refreshes. At least that's my take on it. And they're going to be now focusing on online services, games, just getting product out there into your hands. Of course, get their hands on your cash first. But I think PlayStation 4 owners have nothing to fear about early retirement for the PlayStation 4. Well, folks, that's this episode 2 on the Sony PlayStation 4, if it's facing its end of life cycle. Hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of the Tech Loft podcast. Please remember to, if you're not subscribed to us, please remember to subscribe to us. We're available on several platforms. Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio. That is just to name a few. And if you have any feedback, any suggestions, feel free to send a tweet to @TheTechLoft. I'll be picking up those messages and hopefully incorporating them into the show. As always, I'm Sal for the Tech Loft podcast. Thanks for listening, and ciao for now.